Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk. My name is John, and today here on the channel we're going to be talking about Napoleon, the latest film from director Ridley Scott starring Joaquin Phoenix and Vanessa Kirby. And this one was put out by Apple TV and Sony Pictures under their Columbia brand. It had a budget of about $130 million to $200 million, and you could really see where all the money went into this film because right away the battle sequences in this movie are some stuff that I have never seen on film before and probably never will again. I think that's where all the money went to, was in these beautiful looking action sequences. I mean, I saw stuff that will stick with me for the rest of my life. Just like another Ridley Scott movie, The House of Gucci, I feel like this movie is very much a mixed bag. Scenes that will just stick with you for the test of time, while the rest of the movie is very forgettable, a little bit unfocused.
Nobody has ever said that to me. Nobody.
And I think that's the biggest issue with this film. Now, there is that rumored 4-hour cut coming to Apple TV Plus that Ridley Scott has been talking about. And when you watch the movie on the big screen, it does feel like there are certain scenes missing. There's a big plot point in the middle of this movie that they really were building up to. And then once that's really settled, we don't ever go back to it. And I think it would have been smart for us to check in on that plot point, and maybe in the director's cut that's eventually going to end up on Apple TV Plus, they will address that. It just feels like we're moving through this movie so fast. Obviously, it's a sprawling epic telling the story of Napoleon Bonaparte from the time he's a young general all the way to the time he's the emperor until his eventual death in 1821. And now the biggest flaw of this movie is also one of its biggest strong points, and that's they chose to really concentrate on Napoleon's relationship with his wife, Joséphine, played by Vanessa Kirby in this movie. And the two leads are phenomenal in this movie. Joaquin Phoenix does a great job. He definitely made a choice with this movie that it's not going to work for everyone. Napoleon is one of the most well-known generals of all time. This guy fought in 61 battles. You know, we even talk about a Napoleon complex to this very day. And in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, that was the last time we really got to see a strong Napoleon performance. But Joaquin Phoenix really does do a phenomenal job in this movie. He plays it almost like a comedy. He's really, really funny in this movie. He's also very dark. There's one scene completely out of context that actually really made me laugh in the theaters because it really made me think of myself. Vanessa Kirby's Joséphine points out to him that she's like, "You got fat." And he's like, "I enjoy my meals." I've said that to my wife numerous times, actually. When I'm overeating and stuffing my face, she's like, "Are you gonna stop?" And I'm like, "I enjoy my meals." I swear to God, I say it just like he does in this movie. So Joaquin Phoenix's performance, it's not gonna win any Academy Awards, but it's definitely something. You can't blame him for trying to take a swing, even if it does miss, or at least for me, I thought it was pretty damn good. But I thought Vanessa Kirby actually outshined him. Vanessa Kirby does a great job face acting in this movie. She really does have to portray a lot of her emotions without dialogue, and I thought she does a great job of that. There's a lot of pain in that character, and they do a good job depicting that in this movie. I imagine that director's cut will address that a little bit more, because it does feel like we're trying to get from action sequence to action sequence. It always just feels like we don't get to spend enough time in a certain period or at certain battles, because we're just trying to get through as much of this man's life as we possibly can in a 2-hour and 38-minute runtime. And you feel it. Yes, it does fly by. It doesn't feel like it's that long, and that's because we don't linger on too much. But you also don't get to flesh out as much. As good as Joaquin Phoenix is as Napoleon, and as good as Vanessa Kirby is as Joséphine, I just like a lot of the battle sequences. I feel like we don't spend enough time with everybody. All the actors do a good enough job in this movie, but I just feel like it felt very rushed, like stuff was missing. And I feel like Ridley Scott, talking about the 4-hour cut, wanted to get out in front of that because he thought that that was going to be an issue himself. And I also think that the score of this movie is not the greatest. I really think that a bigger, sprawling, more epic score would have really helped to fit this film than it actually does. I really didn't think it was something that was really lending itself and helping the movie move along. I really didn't enjoy the score that much. The cinematography is a 10 out of 10. That's what you're really going to go to this movie for, is the technical aspects. If you want to see this on the biggest screen possible, on a big IMAX screen, I think you're going to really enjoy it just from the fact that the battle sequences are just one of a kind. And my wife, when we got to one battle sequence, she's such a big historian, and she saw it, she's like, "Oh, wait till you see what happens here." Like, she knew it right away what they were going to do on the big screen, and it just blew us both away. But I also feel like historians watching this movie are going to be a little bit upset, mainly because, they kind of fudge the truth a little bit. They gloss over really big points in Napoleon's life that they just kind of come up as a footnote. The whole movie kind of feels like the Cliff Notes version of Napoleon's life, and it still does feel like it's missing big parts of it. And, you got to understand, 2 hours and 38 minutes, we're going to be telling a man who lived for over 50 years his entire life in that span. It's very hard to do, and I feel like the 4-hour cut would definitely help that a little bit more, but when you're watching this movie in the theaters at this point in time, I can't say it 100% works. Just like The House of Gucci, it feels like a good movie, but it was just teetering on great, and it just feels like something is missing from it helping it get it over that edge. There is so much good in this movie, whether it be from the acting, the cinematography, the battle sequences, all the money that's spent on this movie. You can see it on the big screen. Everybody's putting all their effort into it, but it just feels like there's something missing. I can't imagine this movie getting any Academy Award nominations unless it's from below the line technical standpoints, but it also came out the same year as Oppenheimer, so I can't imagine actually winning any awards. If anything, Vanessa Kirby could get an Academy Award nomination because I really did love her performance in this movie. Even going against Joaquin Phoenix, I feel like her performance was the one that stood out the most, and if she did get an Academy Award nomination for this movie, I wouldn't be upset with it, but I can't imagine her winning as well. So how would I rate this film on a score of 1 to 10? I would still give Napoleon a solid 7 out of 10. It's definitely not a bad movie, but it just feels like certain things are missing. Those battle sequences are something to behold. They're things that we will be talking about years to come. Like when we talk about 1917, even if you didn't love that film, you gotta admire the technical achievement of 1917. And I feel like that's exactly what we'll be talking about in Napoleon going forward. Much like House of Gucci, we'll be talking about certain scenes from the movie, but we will not be talking about the entire film until we see that 4-hour cut. And I think that version will be a better movie, but we have to watch that at home. And I feel like these battle sequences have to be seen on the big screen to be believed. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review of Napoleon. If you guys have seen it, let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts on it are. I'm really curious to see what everybody else is thinking about this movie. I really feel like it's going to end up being a mixed bag, but I did have some laughs in this movie, which did surprise me. So I'm curious what you guys thought about it. And while you guys are down there, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you want to join the ranks of our channel memberships, like our 3 producers, John Doe Juggalo, Jason Martin, and Frank Rodriguez, or our channel director, Kevin Kruger. Thank you guys all so much for supporting the channel. If you want to join the ranks with them, we do have a link in the description below that you can click, and you can see which of our 3 tiers works best for you. We are going to be doing a giveaway this week coming up for Mean Streets on 4K Blu-ray for all of our channel members. If you want to join them, click that link, and then you will be included in the giveaway. I'll put your name on a magic wheel. We'll spin that bad boy. Whoever lands on, they win Mean Streets on 4K Blu-ray, courtesy of me. So I'll be sending that out to you guys. But anyway, guys, it's no pressure at all. All you gotta do is like this video, maybe subscribe, get out in those streets, and tell your friends about us. We will be seeing you around.